With New Year's just around the corner, many of us are gearing up for these New Year's resolutions around diet and exercise and better lifestyle and even other things that not even related to health, but just New Year's resolutions, right? And particularly with health, after the holidays with a little too much eggnog and probably too many holiday cookies, we make these magical promises to ourselves that finally, I'm gonna take care of things this year. I'm gonna be a better person. And by January 1st, the gyms are packed, running shoes are flying off the shelves, and everybody's ready to get going. But let's be honest, by mid-February, the shoes are collecting dust and there's tumbleweeds going through the parking lot of the gym. Now I'm using exercise as an example, right? But we see it in our clinical practice all the time when we give people rehab exercises for certain injuries, or we give sleep hygiene advice, or we give supplement advice or dietary advice or just general exercise advice, that people start out with guns blazing, everybody's ready to go because they have a specific problem that they want to take care of. But then what ends up happening is that it's hard to maintain these lifestyle changes or these dietary changes or whatever, right? So why does this happen? Why is it so difficult to stick to the goals that we set out for ourselves? Well, to truly adhere to your goals, I think it's important that you understand the stepwise process that takes place that helps people follow through with their goals, right? So what I want to do is spend some time in this video outlining these stepwise processes so that you have a clear roadmap to stick to your goals. So it's called the 6 Constructs of Adherence. Now, I learned this from a mentor of mine, Dr. Steve Noseworthy, and he did a podcast on it a while ago in a much longer form than what I'm going to do. So if you want a more in-depth narrative on this topic, I'll leave a link to his podcast below so that you can listen to it. So step 1 is inspiration. It's kind of the aha moment that gets you excited about exercising or changing your diet or something like that in the first place, right? And so it's basically being inspired by something. Now it can be a positive inspiration, like a friend of yours just does a 5K or a marathon or something like that and posts it online. You're like, man, that's inspirational. I want to do that. That's actually why I first got into Ironman, is I worked at an Ironman once and I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. So it was inspirational to me, so I started doing that. But it can also be a negative inspiration, right? Like if you go to put on your favorite jeans, right? And you're like, not gonna happen today. That's kind of like a negative inspiration, but it's still inspirational to want to change something. So whatever the trigger, inspiration is that initial spark, right? It's the what. It's what are you inspired to do? You're inspired to get fit. You're inspired to feel stronger. You're inspired to be healthier. But here's the catch. While inspiration is great, it's fleeting, right? It's kind of like that sugar rush that you get. It's fading quickly unless you follow up with some next step. So that next step is motivation. If inspiration is the what, the motivation is the why. Why do you want to exercise? Why do you want to diet? Is it because you want to have more energy to chase your kids around, to improve your health, or maybe you want to beat your coworker at that local charity 5K? So why did you come in to see me as a functional medicine provider? Is it because of chronic fatigue? Is it hormonal imbalances? Is it that you're concerned about cardiovascular risk? What is it? So getting to the bottom of the why is really, really important. If you're coming in to see Alora for knee pain, let's say, are you really coming in for knee pain? Or are you coming in because the knee pain is preventing you from hiking or skiing and you really want to get back to that, right? That would be your motivation. It's the why. Why are you trying to make this change? And knowing the why is really, really important, because there are days when you won't have a lot of willpower, right? And you have to be able to go back to the why to figure that out. So if you're reaching for a bag of chips, let's say, you have to rationalize to yourself, why do I want to lose weight? Like before I eat that, what was the reason I wanted to go back and lose this weight? Or if you're not feeling energetic and you don't want to go to the gym, think back about the why. Why did you start this journey, right? And if the bliss of that few seconds of the cookie in your mouth is trumping your reason for why you were doing it in the first place, then that's a slippery slope to failing. So motivation is personal, motivation is powerful, but it's also a necessary step. You need to put those words in concrete so that when you have an issue of weakness that you're not going to follow through with something, you know exactly what your motivation was to follow through with this process, right? And the thing is with motivation is it what gets you off the couch, right? And it gets you onto the treadmill. But here's the thing, motivation is kind of like a phone battery, right? It's good for a little while, but then eventually it needs to be charged up. So let's pretend for a second that you have the inspiration, you have the motivation. What's next is intention, right? So if inspiration is the what and motivation is the why, intention is the how, right? It's the plan that turns your motivation into action. And here's the truth. This is where most people stumble, right? They have the inspiration, they have the motivation, but they have no plan, right? If you say, I want to climb Mount Everest, and you show up there with a pair of flip-flops and a granola bar, it's not going to work out for you. If you say you want to exercise in the new year, great. I'm all for that. Let's do it. But how many days are you going to work out in a week? How many reps are you going to do? How many sets are you going to do? How much weight are you going to use? How intense are you going to work out? And this is where we come in at our clinic, right? We specialize in this. We specialize in creating personalized exercise plans, right? This is why we have Jonah, our resident fitness expert. He's amazing at making plans for people. This is why we have Alora. Alora is an instructor and a speaker for a variety of different continuing education courses that are out there. So she goes around and teaches physical therapists how to do rehab. So the key to intention is setting a plan that you can stick to, right? There's nothing worse than having inspiration and motivation and then no plan. Or you go online and you find some diet that you're just going to try or some exercise plan that you're going to try. You don't get the results that you want and then you end up quitting, right? So the intention is the plan and everyone needs a plan. All right, so the next step is discipline. And discipline is the tough love part, right? Discipline is what keeps you going when the New Year's excitement wears off, right? And your motivation is dwindling and it's mid-January and it's freezing outside and you don't want to go to the gym. Discipline says, that's fine, get up and do it anyway. And this is where small wins matter. Every time you show up, even if you don't feel like it, you're training your brain to get used to that idea. And this is the big key. Discipline doesn't necessarily mean being perfect. It means being consistent. And if you miss a day, no big deal. Just get back in the rhythm the next day. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection. But I really can't emphasize that point enough. Consistency is key. And some people, they're fine working out at home, but other people need to go to the gym because they need to be surrounded by people that can motivate them to keep that discipline going, or a workout partner or something like that, or a trainer like Jonah who's going to keep you accountable, or for rehab, periodic appointments with Alora or myself to keep you on track for what you need to do. And we're there to cheer you on and keep you accountable and keep you going through this process. Now, when you stick with discipline long enough, something magical happens. Your effort turns into habit. Now, habits are like autopilot, right? You don't think about them anymore. You don't think about brushing your teeth every day. You don't think about putting your shoes on. It's just something that you do every day, right? That's where you want your exercise routine or your dietary routine to be. And when it becomes part of your daily life every day, it becomes less of a chore. But here's the problem with this is that research is pretty clear on developing habits. It's highly variable as far as how long it takes. Some studies have shown it takes only a few weeks to do certain habits, depending on the person. Sometimes it takes up to a year. So the discipline part has to continue, in some people longer than others, until it becomes a habit. And now we come to the final construct, which is passion. And passion is where the real magic happens. It's when exercise stops feeling like a chore, something that you have to do, but it becomes something that you like to do. I recently had a patient who totally didn't want to exercise. I got her on a running routine. Now, just 6 months later, she's doing 5Ks. She's inviting her family out to run with her. She loves it. This is something that's now become her passion. So a passion is something that makes you feel amazing, right? Passion turns your New Year's resolution into a lifelong love affair. So there you have it, the 6 constructs of adherence. So let's recap really quickly. Starts with inspiration. Something inspires you, right? That's the what. Then you need to be motivated to continue to do it. That's the why. Why are you doing what you want to do? Then becomes the intention, which is the plan, right? You need a plan to get going on something. And then once you're inspired and you're motivated and you have a plan, you need to stick to it. That's where the discipline comes in. And once you've done something for long enough, it just becomes a habit. You don't really think about it anymore. It's just part of your daily routine. And then after that, it becomes a passion. So as we head into the new year with these resolutions, or more importantly, as you embark on a rehabilitation journey or a journey to feeling better and healthy living, I want to challenge you to not let your goals fizzle out, right? Start with inspiration, develop a plan, and if you need help, you know where we are. So thanks for watching, and if this video inspired you to rethink or replan out your resolutions, great. Give the video a like, share it with some friends, don't forget to subscribe, and here's to a happier, healthier you in the new year. All right, see you soon.